Hello students, welcome to the second week of our English grammar classes. I hope you are all benefiting from these video lessons. Let me remind you again to watch the lessons a couple of times or more, and also do the exercises given through Google Forms. Remember, when you do exercises, you learn better, you learn more thoroughly, and also you can assess yourselves as to how much you have understood. Now let us begin our class today. Students, before we begin today's lesson, let us quickly revise what we learned last week. Last week it was our first class, and there we learned about functions of nouns as subject and object. We learned that nouns, noun phrases, or pronouns may function as subject of a sentence. Similarly, a noun, noun phrase, or a pronoun may function as the object of a verb. We also learned to identify the subject and object. I had also sent you a Google Forms exercise as assignment, and about 100 of you responded to it. From your responses, what I noticed is that many of you got your answers wrong for mainly two questions. One, the route through the forest is very exciting. The second question was, I shared my sandwiches with Alice. Let us quickly analyze these two sentences. First of all, the route through the forest is very exciting. In this sentence, you were asked to identify the subject. In order to find out the subject, you have to know what this sentence is about. This sentence is about what is very exciting. What is very exciting? The route through the forest is very exciting. So, the route through the forest is the subject of the sentence, and it is a noun phrase. Why the subject is a noun phrase? Because the subject is a group of words with a noun as the head word. So, root is the head word, and the whole group of words is the subject of the sentence. Secondly, I shared my sandwiches with Alice. This also many of you got the answers wrong for this question. You were asked to find out, identify the object of the verb. So, what is the verb here? Shared. Shared is the verb here. I hope you remember the formula to identify the object. Ask whom or what after the verb. So, let us ask, I shared what with Alice? I shared my sandwiches with Alice. So, my sandwiches is the object of the verb shared in this sentence. I hope it is clear to you. And now let us go to today's lesson on adjectives. So students, today we are going to learn about adjectives, their position and kinds. First of all, let us try to recall what we have learned about adjectives in the lower classes. In your lower classes, you have learned that adjectives are describing words. They describe or modify a noun or a pronoun. Adjectives are describing words. They describe or modify a noun or a pronoun. Imagine this situation. One day, in the street in front of your house, you are riding your cycle with your friends. That time, you see a stranger walking out of the gates of your neighbor's house, and you know that the whole family of your neighbor is out of town. Later you come to know that a theft has taken place in that house. When the police come, you tell them that you saw a stranger coming out of their gates. So the police ask you to describe the suspect, and you describe him in the following way. He was a tall man of whitish complexion, black hair, and lightweight, and he was in grey trousers, white shirt, and black shoes. All these words in bold letters: tall, whitish, black, light, grey, white, black. All these words that you have used to describe the person, his dress, his shoes, etc. are adjectives. So that's what we use adjectives for, to describe nouns or pronouns. Now let's try to understand how adjectives are used in a sentence. Position of adjectives. Where do we place adjectives in a sentence? That is what we are going to see here. In a sentence, adjectives are usually positioned before the nouns they modify or describe. Adjectives are usually positioned before the nouns they modify or describe. Let us look at an example. The bright and alert student answered quickly. The bright and alert student answered quickly. So here, bright and alert are two describing words. They are adjectives and they are describing the noun student. And the adjectives are placed just before the noun that they describe, which is student. Let us look at another example. A long and dusty road leads to my house. So here, road is the noun and the long and dusty are the adjectives, and they are describing the road, and therefore they are placed just before the noun road. But sometimes adjectives may be positioned after the be verb or a non-action verb like feel, seem, appear and become. Sometimes adjectives may be positioned after the verb, after the be verb, or a non-action verb like feel, seem, appear and become. What are the forms of be? The forms of be in present tense, you know, they are is, am and are. In past tense, they are was and were. In future tense, the forms of be are will be and shall be. Let us look at some examples. The student is bright and alert. Here, bright and alert, they are describing words, they are adjectives, and they are describing the noun student. But here, they are placed after the verb is, because is a form of be, one of the forms of be. Let's look at another example. The road seems long and dusty. Here, road is the noun and long and dusty are the adjectives. And this long and dusty, they are describing the noun road, but they are placed after the non-action verb seems. Now that's it about position of adjectives, and let us go to kinds of adjectives. Kinds of adjectives. Adjectives can be classified into the following kinds: adjectives of quality, adjectives of quantity, adjectives of number, demonstrative adjectives, possessive adjectives, interrogative adjectives, and distributive adjectives. Today we will deal with 4 of these adjectives, of quality, quantity, adjectives of number, and demonstrative adjectives. The rest of the adjectives we will learn the next day. Now let us begin with the adjectives of quality. An adjective of quality tells about specific qualities such as color, size, age, shape, origin, and material of the noun. It specifies what kind. Let us analyze some examples. The tall tower is the lighthouse. In this sentence, the adjective tall is describing tower, and it is telling about a specific quality of the tower. That is the size of the tower. The tall is regarding size, and it is speaking about the size of the tower, that is tall tower. Let us look at another example. Birds fly in the blue sky. Blue is the adjective there, the highlighted word. It is adjective, it is describing sky, and it is describing a specific quality of the sky, that is the color of the sky, that's blue. The second type of adjectives are adjectives of quantity. Adjectives of quantity tell the quantity of a noun. It specifies how much. Let us look at some examples. There is enough rice for dinner. Delhi did not get much rainfall last year. One thing that you must always keep in your mind with regard to adjectives of quantity is that adjectives of quantity are used for uncountable nouns. Let us analyze these examples. There is enough rice for dinner. Adjective of quantity enough is used before the noun rice to describe it, and it is telling how much rice is there. Enough rice. So you know that rice, we cannot count rice, we can only measure it. The second example also, you cannot count the rainfall, you can only measure it. How much rainfall? Much rainfall. Delhi did not get much rainfall last year. Another kind of adjectives are adjectives of number. An adjective of number tells the number of the noun. It specifies how many. Let us look at some examples. My uncle has 3 refrigerators in his house. Our seat is in the 4th row. Several species of birds migrate to India in winter. Adjectives of number include 1 cardinal numbers such as 500, 4000, 1, etc. Ordinal numbers such as 1st, 5th, 7th. Adjectives denoting numbers. Adjectives denoting numbers such as many, several, few, etc. So, in the examples given above, 3, 4, several, all these adjectives, they are either representing a number or denoting a number. Therefore, we call all of them adjectives. 3, 4, several, all of them we call adjectives of number. And one thing that you must remember about adjectives of number is that they are used for countable nouns. A short while ago we learned that adjectives of quantity are used to refer to uncountable nouns. So here you must remember that adjectives of number are used for countable nouns. A fourth kind of adjectives are demonstrative adjectives. A demonstrative adjective points out a specific noun and helps to identify it. It always comes before a noun and specifies which. Here are some examples. These houses have just been painted. I do not like to wear such clothes. This bag is not mine. In all these examples, these, such, this, they are specifically telling about which noun you refer to. These houses, such clothes, this bag. Therefore, we call all these adjectives demonstrative adjectives. So today we learned about position of adjectives and kinds of adjectives. With regard to position, we learned that usually adjectives are placed just before the nouns they describe. But sometimes adjectives may be positioned after the be verb or a non-action verb like feel, seem, appear and become. Then we saw kinds of adjectives like adjective of quality, adjectives of quantity, adjectives of number and demonstrative adjectives. Here we end today's class, and kindly click on the Google Forms link and complete the exercise. Have a nice day and thank you.